What is up, everybody? It's Keith Mitchell here, and I got my buddy here, Baron from Lv1
Hey,
Gaming. Don't call it Lv1 Gaming; he'll come in, he'll get you. And we both had the pleasure of attending a special technology event last week called Consumer Electronics Show, or for most people, CES. And I got to say that it was definitely an experience for myself, Baron.
yeah, honestly, that be especially, it's our first time. It was definitely level one as an organization's first time. Nobody on the team had gone before. And this immediately became a mandatory every year event. Like this is something we're going to be working very hard to make sure we're at every single year
Yeah, same
going
here.
forward.
Same here. But before we start talking about the show, before I have a brain fart, I definitely want to hearts and wishes and prayers to everybody out in Los Angeles. It's crazy. I'm seeing actors, YouTubers, common folk losing their home, losing everything because of this crazy wildfire or wildfires that are taking place in California. And
Yeah.
it just seems like California is just not the place to be, because if it's not wildfires, it's earthquakes, and
Yeah.
it's crazy out there. Be careful. If you're in Los Angeles, maybe get the hell out. It's not safe right now, and
It,
it's crazy.
and then what's even worse is it's not an isolated issue. Like
No,
you said, it's multiple fires, but then also you have the grid, trying to make sure that other wildfires don't spread in other areas, and power outages, blackouts, like complete blackouts. It's been, being in
it's
Southern
crazy.
California right now is definitely weird.
And I just want to give a big shout out to everybody who's coming to the aid of the people. We've got people from Canada coming, we've got people from Mexico coming, we've got allies coming, the
Yes.
same allies that a certain someone I won't talk about is trying to
Mm,
push away, but they're here, they're trying to help us, and nothing but love and respect for that. So thank you very much for that, guys.
yes.
Yeah, Los Angeles really needs you right now. California needs you right now. Um, but not to set the show on on a very somber note. We definitely want to talk about CES. Um, and it's actually really interesting for me because I had all my stuff planned. I was ready to go. I was going to leave. What was it? I think I was going to leave.
Was it
When did I
Sunday?
say I was going to leave? I was going to leave the Sunday, right? I was going
Yeah,
to leave the
you're gonna
Sunday. I
leave
was going to leave
Sunday.
Sunday 6 o'clock in the morning. I would have got there on 9 o'clock that Pacific Standard Time, and I would have been doing the whole thing, playing around, screwing around, having fun before I went to CS. But then my daughter was like, "I want to go too," and I'm like, "What? I've been playing this thing for months now. All of a sudden, you want to come?" So I scrapped my ticket. Lost money on that one. Don't want to talk about that pain in the butt. Went ahead and uh, got a new hotel because I scrapped all my plans because of the snowstorm that happened to come the same time. So that messed up my things. So I'm going on reverse. So I canceled all my original stuff. And then I got plans for my daughter and myself to come later on that Sunday. Well, then, hey, the snow's coming. And then our flight got delayed. And then I was like, you know what? We're just not going to go. So then Monday, I was like, you know what? Screw this. I really, really want to go. So bought more tickets, got a different hotel room, and we made it out to CES. So it was my
Yeah.
first time being there. And I also at the last moment did a application for my daughter, because I was like, she takes pictures for us, and she various events she comes and she takes pictures and videos. So she was actually doing her thing. She got invited the last day we were there. She came in, she did her job, and I'm super proud of her doing that. And hopefully we get to come back to CES this year, next year,
Yeah.
not this year, next year. But yeah, that was just an interesting little snafu moment. But I'm definitely glad we came. What about you, Baron? I'm pretty sure
Yes.
yours was a lot easier than
Oh
mine.
yeah, my travel situation was a lot easier than that. So I just gassed up the car and drove for
He
three and
just
a half hours.
drives.
Three and a half. So I went and got the radiator checked, got the oil change because it was time for that anyway. Got the pressure check because I was like, I'm about to go up into these mountains and then come through the pass. But yeah, so that it was a quick drive, and I always love stopping in Baker. I never stop in Prim, which is right there at State Line, but I do stop at Baker and go get alien jerky and go buy some doodads from the
He
alien
stocks up.
store.
He's driving. He's driving what, 4 hours?
Yeah, 4
Took me
hours with
about
traffic. Yeah.
5 hours to fly from Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
Philadelphia over there, and and he just gets to drive. I mean, I would have loved to driven, but that would have been like the road
Oof.
trip from hell. No thanks.
Yeah.
No thanks. No thanks.
Ooh.
I wouldn't have won that.
And then I didn't have to make any adjustments or anything like that. But the thing that did suck is my neighborhood, including my family, they was without power for 4 days.
That sucks.
Yeah, and it sucks because I'm sitting here having a good time, which we're gonna talk about, but then they're at home camping out in the house. Like,
I mean, at least they weren't freezing, right?
no, they weren't
So
freezing.
yeah,
No,
that's always a
yeah,
positive.
I think the coldest it was like 40,
Yeah,
40
closer was
degrees. Yeah,
40.
yeah.
Back here, it's like 10. It's like 20 degrees with -5 with wind chill. I'm like, all right, this is ridiculous.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't want to be in Delaware. I
I'm
was
not.
dreading when I was coming back home. I was like, it's cold here, but damn, it's gonna be really cold when I come back home. I did not want to be here. The second I get off the plane, I was like, yep, put that
Oof,
jacket back on. It's cold. It's
oof. You
cold.
gotta wear real jackets where you're at.
Yeah, I got that trench coat. No, it's and even then you can't do anything about your legs. You're like, "Yep, East Coast sucks. East Coast sucks when it comes to weather." Um, but man, yeah, it was like you mentioned, it was my first time being there, and I gotta say, I was woefully underprepared. I was not ready for this event. I brought my typical stuff, like I cover events now with my cell phone
Yes,
because
same.
I don't like taking my DSLR anymore. It just doesn't make any sense. And I haven't purchased one of those. Uh, was it Sony? The popular Sony
The
vlogging.
A7s or the
Yeah,
A6?
the one
Yeah.
everybody's carrying around. I'm like, well, I got a Samsung S22 Ultra and an
What's
S24
the
Ultra.
one thing you have? That thing is cool.
So that is the Shift Cam. They
I
make one. They make one for Android and they make one for iPhone. Um, I was going to actually wait. Let me back up. The
Oh, I'm
one
sorry. Yeah, my
that
bad.
flipped around, or
Yeah,
or
the little one,
no, for my phone.
the
Oh, the
on
little that's the
the
DJI Pocket 3.
okay.
So that's that. That's a little expensive, but yeah, that's that. I don't like the small screen, but it's a great device. And the only reason I got that is because most gimbals in the market, they don't work well with Android devices.
Nope.
They're kind of like unless you have an iPhone, you're screwed.
Yes. Yes.
So,
100%.
and I don't have an iPhone,
Same.
so I was kind of screwed. I really want somebody to make a gimbal that goes, we're gonna buck the trend and do nothing but Android, but that's not gonna happen. So I used the DJI Pocket 3, and then the other thing I had with the shift cam that I could put my phone in and just whip up and down. And that's great, but I don't use videos on that because it doesn't really do good stabilization. But I usually bring those with me. No big cameras. I think I did a great job in terms of capturing a lot of footage and a lot of images. But the downside is I also had my DJI Mic 2s, and they did not do a good job at CES.
Mm.
Terrible, terrible. The audio quality is jacked. I'm so pissed off. And even when you had them like right on your collar, it doesn't make a difference.
Was it a Bluetooth issue? Like too many signals?
No, it's just too much background noise, way too much background noise.
Ah.
So I'm gonna do some testing with getting Cavaliers mics to plug into them. I'm gonna go to different places that are loud and try and test with that, because if it doesn't fix it, and I've got the DJI Mic 2s, and
Okay.
I also have the Rode wireless 2 goes or something like that. And neither one of them.
Those are the cube ones, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had those first, and then these guys. I mean, these guys right here. So I actually had these first,
Okay.
and then I got the other ones because they were like, the other ones are so much better. And I'm like, I guess, but these also don't have any kind of noise canceling. The other ones
Oh.
do, but it didn't really help. And now I'm going back and forth looking at all these tutorials and like, well, noise canceling is bad. Don't do this. And then another YouTuber's like, no, you got to do this. And I'm like, you're contradicting each other. What the hell's going on? And then I look at these, like the big YouTubers, and their audio is a lot better. And I'm like, I think I'm going to have to spend the money and get that because I really want to have good quality audio. So I'm very pissed off. I had a lot of I had like a couple interviews, but I had a
Nice.
lot of them on the floor and a lot of good conversations with people after the interview, and
See,
gone.
now I have to ask. is this you being a perfectionist, or is it truly like you
No,
can't wear
it's
it?
you can't use it. It's terrible.
Ah,
It
okay.
I even tried to use AI, to try and fix it. No, it's
Oh, like
terrible.
running through system. Yeesh.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Ah,
It's not something that I would put on a YouTube channel or give to anybody. It's bad. It's
okay.
bad stuff.
Okay.
I'm so pissed off about that. Um, but that lets me make a bazillion articles instead of doing YouTube videos, which is what I've been doing. I've been doing like if you went over to the channel, I've got like maybe 6 or 7 articles from my arcade. I've got one from the tack suit, which is basically the vest you put on from my Ready Player One. I've got a nice article coming out from that. I've got one for Govee coming out because I was in that booth a bunch of times. I did one for Rokid.
Okay.
They're taking their glass. You know, I'm going ahead of
Yeah,
myself.
yeah, yeah,
We're,
yeah, yeah.
we're to be talking about certain things. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm very upset with the audio. Next year I will go back. Prepared, and hopefully I'll have one of my teammates with me because you cannot cover this by yourself.
And I'll talk about my experience of covering this by myself. So, yeah, so for me, terms of equipment, I went with I bought a tripod off of TikTok, and it's actually been really really good for me. I bought it to connect to a gimbal. Like it was a set, but then the gimbal doesn't really capture black people very well. Like if you're a darker complexion, all of the hand
You
gestures
got a racist gimbal, man. What's
well
up with that?
well, hey, I don't know. Well, when they test and build these techs for gestures and whatnot, it's on fairer skinned people.
Yeah,
At least for certain companies, there's one that I'll talk about who markets with a black person in their marketing, and I think you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I went with my gimbal, and I always use a cell phone. I've never really been a camera guy, and I remember a photographer telling me the best camera you got is the one in your hand.
yep.
And from that point forward, I got a Samsung, I believe a 21S or something like that. It's not even a super new phone, but the camera quality is always pretty decent.
Well, see, that's
Uh,
the thing with that though. With cameras, the last 2, 3 generations of cameras on phones are fantastic. I mean, if you're
yeah.
not a professional, a phone is perfect.
Oh yeah. Like I'm not and that's what I always lean into. Like I'm not gonna just go buy new tech just for the sake of new tech. Like super side note, the only reason I haven't updated my webcam to a camera is because I had a Twitch partner. They complimented me. We were doing a show together and they were like, "Hey, your camera is really good. What camera are you using?" I was like, "Bro, this is a webcam and software." He was like, and they were like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, webcam software."
And
Um
lights. And
and
lights.
lights and
Lights
lighting.
make a big
Yeah, and then
thing.
I look good, it just happens. But no, so being at this event solo, it definitely had me running around like a chicken with my head cut off, just because of how spread out everything was. And I had a lot of time to reflect internally because there was a lot of walking. Even with lifts and Ubers and monorail, I was still cranking 20,000 plus steps a day.
Oh, it was great. It
Yeah,
was great, man.
yeah, it was just the walk, and that was me catching rides, and still, the casinos are all a mile long each.
Yeah.
Like so, you got to get to the Venetian, and then you got to shoot over to the Westgate, then you got to get over to the Las Vegas Convention Center South, then you finish off at the West Hall. Like it's just, but
It was
but
great. It was
it
great
w-
to walk in.
it
My
was.
watch
Oh,
is my watch is like, "Hey, Keith, you have done any steps?" Like, "I did 60,000 steps." Shut up.
yeah, no, and like I have to retire my con shoes. Like I finally wore them out because I have a pair of shoes with some good insoles and stuff that I bought. They've been to like the last 3 or 4 cons and that I've been to or expos, and this one, like it finally hit that point. I was like, it's time to go buy some new ones. Like I gotta retire them.
Side note on that, folks, when you go to CES, you definitely wanna have a good pair of shoes, and when I say good pair of shoes, I mean shoes
Good.
that you've broken in for, like, months.
Yes.
Not, I bought them a week ago and I've been wearing them. No,
No.
you have to have these puppies broken in, broken in.
Like,
Mm,
watching
man,
people try to walk around and be cute, I felt so bad for them. Like, it was, because it truly is just everything is so spread out.
yeah.
And then nothing is, like, centralized in terms of, "This is all the gaming stuff you'll ever think of looking at. It's right here." Nah, it like it was all
Yeah.
over the place.
And I don't know about you, but I didn't look at just gaming stuff.
Yes,
When I first got there, I ended up going to the Venetian, and I only went there. What did I go there for? I went there for something. I didn't even know there was a convention hall. And I was like, "What?" And then I
me
went to the
neither.
convention hall, and I was just looking at all the home automation tech and stuff. Um, and this is the first cool thing I saw. I walked over and I saw the massage chairs, and I was like, "Massage
Ah,
chairs?" And I walked over, and one of the guys like, "You want a massage?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he put me in there for like 20 minutes. He like, "You like this?
oh,
You like this? You like
nice.
this?" And he's talking to me, and he's trying to sell me the chair, and I'm like, man, this feels good. $7,000. And no, wait a second. I'm thinking about that. Like $7,000. You think about that because I go to massages. I get
Same,
massages a lot, and I'm paying about $100 for a massage. So
easy, easy.
I'm like, that's
It's not
that's
that
like
bad.
never paying for a massage ever again because I have this chair. But the downside is the chair is so massive. I couldn't like
You'd
where am
have
I
to
gonna
get
put
rid
this
of
chair?
you'd have to get rid of the couch in the back and put it right
I
there.
was really thinking about that. I was like, what, Mo, we got enough money in the bank. I will never pay for massages again. Maybe we can talk to the insurance company and say, hey, this is for my health. And I'm like, but yeah, I can't. That's God, that was a great. I mean, when I say they massage everything, they massage everything, like
Yep.
everything. It got to the point like, whoa, you got a little too close to down there, bro. I don't need you massaging that. I'm good. But no, they did.
Was it the one that grabbed your calves too? Like
Yeah,
where
it
you
did everything. It was
yeah.
like you couldn't even move. Your arms are in, your legs
Yeah.
are in, like you can't move. You're stuck there. And I'm like, wow.
So the gym I go to, they have those. Did it have like the little ripples in the like where your hands and arms are, and you slide? It's like a pad, and then it's like it felt like a real full. It felt
Yeah,
like a
and it
person.
it hurt a little bit because I moved my arm out and it was pushing down. It's
Oh,
like I shouldn't
yep,
move my arm. So
yep,
yeah, that was fun. That was amazing. I got up 20 something minutes later. I was like, wow, I
yeah.
feel great. I was like, I'm gonna go back tomorrow. But no,
So
that was easily the first cool thing I saw when I went there because I didn't know where I was at.
So funny enough, my first cool thing was the first thing I saw was cool. I did not go into. I went into the convention a little early. Not gonna say how I got in, but I got in a little early.
He was doing
And
a solid snake. He snuck
yeah, I
in
was
there.
boop 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 boop. But no, so I ended up actually just walking around. Is that was the West Hall that was next to Westgate, right? I know that sounds stupid, guys.
Yeah.
I know those listening sound stupid, but you gotta understand, like the build, yeah. So, but went into West Hall. I got in early, and actually that's where I interviewed a robot. Like I was just walking around trying to capture B-roll because the floor was empty. I'm just walking, camera, looking around, and then I see a robot in the distance shadow boxing. And I went over there, like legit, the robot was
So
over there
we're
throwing
doing real
jabs.
still here.
Yeah. Like,
Jeez.
yeah, that's what I thought. And that's why I went over. I was like, oh, are we gonna be having like, battle bots, but it's like you said, real steel. And they were I was like, hey, can I talk to you guys about your robot? And they were like, no, don't talk to us, talk to the robot. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, yeah, the microphone right there. It's not us controlling him. He's automated, not automated, he's AI. Like, go ahead and just talk to him. And I was like, okay, I will definitely talk to your robot. And I was like, can I record it? And they were like, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Go ahead, record it, no issues. So I set up the tripod, got everything ready. And the video that I uploaded is actually more or less the raw footage. I didn't cut much because I wanted people to truly get the feel and the timing and why it was so mind-blowing to sit here and talk with this robot. Um his name was Nilo. He loves fall because he likes to be able to layer his fashion.
Whoa,
And
whoa, whoa. They gave the robot a personality.
yes,
Wow,
yeah. And we
that's
were
crazy.
talking, and it felt like a very natural conversation. And I even like interrupted him, and he kind of like stuttered. He was like, "Oh," and then went to listening, and then he was like, oh, "Okay." And then he referenced, like, so earlier in the conversation, I talked about how my favorite color, because I asked him, I was like, "Hey, what's your favorite color?" He was like, "I like monochromes, I like grays, blacks, silvers." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then he was like, "Well, what's yours?" And I was like, "Well, for me, I like forest green. That's my favorite color." And he was like, "Oh, that's nice." And then we started talking about fall. later on, because I asked him like, "Oh, what's your favorite time of the year?" Because you clearly like beanies. He's always talking about beanies, and he was like, "Well, I like fall because people get to wear cool jackets, wear layers, and have a show their style." And he was like, and then the weather's cooler, and the trees are, they have a cool color, forest green, like your favorite color. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. It felt like a honest to goodness, honest, like just conversation.
So it was like
And
natural. There was no delay in the
there was
replies or
there
anything.
there was a slight delay. Like while in it, it didn't feel like it. It just kind of felt like somebody was kind of gathering their thoughts. But while watching the recording of it, I could kind of feel the delay. Um, like it just a small. It's like talking to somebody who's calculated, and they're like they want to make sure their words fit for the moment. That's how. Thank God that they did not put a very human voice. I'm glad they added like it sounded like a robot, like it
Okay.
had the cute reverb, like it had the robot vibe, because I could definitely see it being some uncanny valley stuff. It would have went from cute, cool to
That's
creepy and
scary.
scary
Yeah.
really easy, and it wouldn't have took much. But what was so amazing is you could see me in the video kind of looking off to the side, like, guys, you see this? Like, yeah, I was talking to my camera, but a crowd of people, because as I was interviewing, the show actually kicked up and people walked in. I had a bunch of people behind my camera recording and like oohing and ahhing, because it really was it it one of the cool it was dope for one of the coolest things I seen at CES to be something I saw on accident, had no plans of looking for, and it just was an amazing experience that I didn't think I'd be looking for.
I wish I would have saw that because that would have been like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of people do a video on one on YouTube, and clearly it wasn't that one because this one literally took 20 to 30 seconds on every reply. So I was like,
Oh
that
no, it
that
definitely
needs
was.
some work.
My interview was only 5 minutes long, like because of course a bunch of people were there, and I didn't want to take up all their time.
I mean, I would have took up all their time. I would be like, how does this work? What is this? What is that? What is this? You wait right there. What is this? I'd be like, I'm here first. I need to know what's going on with this thing.
Yeah, it was so cool the way they had it set up. Like, and then he called me Baron J67, and I was like, did the AI did the facial recognition kick in or something, or did it do some deep search? Of course, these were questions I should have asked, but I was just geeking out so hard that I was just, me, I approach things from a very casual, general standpoint. Like, I'm just like, holy hell! They were like, yeah, we're not inputting any of this. We're not, there's not some man behind the mirror. Um, he's talking to you.
That sounds really. Do you remember the name of it?
Yes. So Intbot, INTBOT, and they're trying to grow their Twitter. I was officially their 6th follower on Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah, on X, I'm sorry.
You gotta get off that. They got you should say, blue skies is where you need to go. Why you on X, man?
And oddly enough, they're a young team. Like the creator, he looked no older than 30. Shout out to David. If I'll send this over to you. But yeah, they young team. Wasn't that many people. Oh, and they said it only took 6 months to get to that point of where it was at.
Wow, they must have been doing a lot of AI
Yeah,
training. Holy
yeah,
crap.
it was only 6 months. And
Jeez.
that's exactly what I said too. I was like, what? They were like, yeah, 6 months. I was this, and it was shadow boxing. It
That's
was just the
crazy.
timing of it. Thank God that, once again, thank God they did the robot voice, because Uncanny Valley.
Mm. Um, I didn't have a lot of interviews at CES. But what I did have was one with and I'm gonna butcher your name. I do apologize. Yeyian Gaming.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
Young Gaming,
Yeyian
yeah.
Gaming. And I went there and they were like, "Can I help you?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm here for my interview." And like, "Oh yeah, yeah, come in, come in." And they had other people in there, and I was like, "Is there anybody I can talk to regarding this?" And I was like, I need to talk to somebody that's really technical about this stuff because I have questions. I have a lot of questions, and they introduced me to one of the people there. I got to get a hold of him because he was really cool, and I do apologize because when it clicked that he was really an IT guy, a gaming guy, it was like, oh, that's nice. You have stuff over there. Let's talk about the industry and how things are going and how gaming is going and how tech is proceeding. And we're going back and forth talking about tech. And I think maybe about 20 minutes in, I was like, okay, we got to talk about your product. Now, I do apologize. We're just talking and talking and talking. And they had a lot of cool stuff. They got a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
nice pre-built machines. They have some cases that they'll be selling individually. They have a nice chair. I have an article about that coming out soon.
Oh yeah.
Really nice chair. I think they said it was like $600,
Yeah.
maybe a little less than that.
Less. I remember less what they told me.
And it puts I sat in it for a little bit, and I'm sitting in the Herman Miller Logitech chair, and it
Oh,
puts this chair to shame.
and the Herman Miller, that's supposed to be a top brand too. Yeah.
They said their goal is to bring out chairs that are affordable to everybody, that allows them to have good posture. And that was another conversation we had. We were talking about posture, and they said, yeah, that's one of the things because people sell these gaming chairs, these bucket chairs, and they're
Horrible.
terrible for you. You sit in them and they're garbage. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is, And I sat in that chair and I was like, wow, this is a great chair. I think I'm gonna reach out to them like, hey, you know, I got bad posture. I'd be great to, check out this chair for you, or just to talk to them again. They were really cool people.
Mhm.
At the same time, another cool thing I saw there is they have a 40-inch monitor, not 34, not 32, 40-inch. They're still working on it, but they are very proud of it. And I saw they were running return on it, and it looked
Mhm.
amazing. I don't remember the exact specs, but it's called
Advance.
either the Advance, was it?
Yeah, the Avance. Yeah.
And it looked amazing, and just the fact that it was 40 inches, like, that's the perfect size. How Logitech has I'm sorry, not Logitech, Samsung has, like, their 49-inch and their 50-something inch. 40 inches is the sweet spot for me because that would allow me to get rid of most of my monitor space. Now, the common ultra wide monitor is 34. 40 is perfect. I didn't get a lot of like super technical details, like is it G Sync, is it free sync, whatnot. But I am going to contact them to get more information about it. That monitor looked amazing. I kept going back to their monitor. Um, it was just nice to see their products. It was nice to hear their philosophy as they want to give gamers what they're paying for, and they want to give them a quality product because they know there's a lot of people out there that don't do that, and maybe some might take advantage of people. So they're trying to do that, and they're not a well-known company as of yet.
Nope.
I remember seeing them at PAX at 2024. So this is the second time seeing them. Great stuff. Great PC stuff. If you're thinking about building your PC or maybe buying a pre-built PC, I'm not pitching for them, but check them out. They definitely have a good head on their shoulders, so to speak. Nice place, nice people. All of them were nice. Not just the technical person. There was another person, I can't remember her name. I
It
have
was
a card.
Diana. What was it? Frank. You probably interviewed Frank, huh?
No, it wasn't Frank. His last
Oh,
name was Gomez.
okay.
I don't remember his first name. I want to say maybe Mike. I want to think his name first
Okay.
name was Mike. Yeah, we were just once we started talking tech, it was like
Yeah.
we hit it off. But yeah, that was a great surprise. It was good talking to him.
So going along with that, I actually met with Yeyian Gaming as well, Yeyian Gaming as well, and I even as a casual gamer, guys. So like when I talk tech stuff, you're gonna get very casual perspective. I'm just, that's always how it's been. It's always how I presented it. Best way I could describe it is the average gamer's gamer. Like that. That just this is who I am. Very vanilla. Even for somebody with a very basic background when it comes to enjoying PC gaming, they have everything you could want. And their pre-builts price wise aren't that bad. Like they got a line with 4060s for 800 899. Like you can get you well at this point at that point what was the top of the line uh RTX, GTX, and all that other fun tech X stuff, you could get it there for a reasonable price, and it all looks good. It doesn't look super tacky
No, it
with a
looks
bunch
nice.
of RGB, just for RGB's sake. It all fits very well, and everything is very focused on quality and ventilation. Like that was a big thing I actually talked to him about.
Yeah, they
Is
talked
that
about airflow. Yeah,
yeah,
they were heavy on that.
airflow is a very, very important factor for them. And one thing that I'm shocked you didn't bring up was the actual table. the Masterwork game
There's a
table.
reason for that.
So my first worry when I seen it was like, dang, what if it's time to upgrade? Like, what happens? You throw away the whole table? I actually, so folks, just to explain, they had a adjustable, motorized, adjustable table, standing table. Or what would you say, adjustable, not standing? It's an
No, what's
adjustable
standing? What's
table.
standing?
Yeah, a standing table where the PC was actually built into the table, and it had a cool smoky glass overlay on top of it with a metallic frame on the rest of it. And then oddly enough, the pricing, they didn't have an official price, but
Yeah.
it wasn't too high. I think it was less than like 1,500.
Yeah,
Like,
but
yeah,
they said it was, like, kind of a prototype. They weren't sure
yeah,
if they were going to market, so I was like, "Ah."
yeah.
I saw it, I was like, "That's awesome." And they were like, "No, it's
Well,
still too heavy."
the only reason I'm even bringing it up is because it's on their blog post on their official site. And that's the only reason I'm even bringing it up, because that they had a lot of product there, folks, like a
Yeah, they
lot
did.
of product. And the cool thing was that chair. So the chair that Keith was talking about, I loved it for a few other reasons. The 4D armrest. Armrests have
Yeah,
always
they
been a
brought that up.
huge, yeah, it's always been a huge issue for me. I'm a big guy, 350 plus pounds. When I sit in a chair, I need to be able to not feel squished. I need to be able to adjust the arm so maybe my arms can sit a little better. And to see that in a gaming centric chair, along with being and then having the mesh bottom, like, that was, I was like, dude, so you don't have to worry about overheating it for sitting too long. You got comfort in your armrest so you can have long gaming sessions. And for a bigger person, it's a comfy, sturdy chair. And the price was right. Because all those things listed together in a atypical Office Max office chair with lumbar support, you're spending eight,
Oh my
nine
god.
thousand dollars easy, easy. Because just with those, like, lumbar support, supports heavy weight, armrest adjustment, and um what was the other one? And a mesh bottom. Like, those things scream expensive. Because if you didn't know, folks, chairs are expensive. Furniture is very expensive.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
furniture is very expensive. So that would, without harping on everything you brought up, the ergonomic keyboards, that was
Yeah,
actually
they
really
brought
cool.
they were like that Microsoft had something like that in the past. Like, yeah, they did. They
Yep.
did.
The ergonomic gaming keyboard, that was super cool. Did you feel the mouse?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was like, "Hey, I think this is," they were like, "No, it's not a sample, it's not a shell. That is the mouse." I think it was less than like 40 grams, they said, or 40, yeah. Like,
Yeah, it was very light.
it was light to a point, folks, that the best way I can explain it is if you grabbed your mouse, whatever mouse you got in your house, and it had none of the parts in there. That is how light. It just felt like a shell, felt like they were a display at a store. But no, it was a functioning mouse that I was able to use. That was super cool. All the different monitors, and then the price point.
Yeah.
Um, for them to have that quality, like, even their upper end stuff, like, where most people would use plexiglass for the design, it was actual glass. Like, it was like, to have better RGB lighting and whatnot, because glass obviously is the best option. And it just, the little things, and they were telling me, they were like, you're actually noticing a lot of the little stuff. I was like, well, I mean, that, because I'm not going to talk specs with you, like, oh, what does this do, the 60,000 60,000 X art, I don't know that, but I can tell that, thank you for adding the port right here to where it'll work and fit and be more efficient and I won't bump into it. um and then even the table that I mentioned, it had like a lot of good wire management
Oh my
established.
god. God, that
Yeah,
table. Why'd you bring that table up again,
I'm
man?
sorry, because it's super cool. Like, I was like, this is dope. And then the way it's designed,
Actually, let
it's
me see if I can keep
oh
going.
yeah.
I'm gonna try to see
It
if I can bring it up here.
it's designed in a way that when you're looking at it, it almost looks like the PC is flat inside the table, because they designed it in the case of the actual computer in a slant, so that unless you're under the table, you don't see that there's a complete computer case under there mounted up to the table. And yeah, it was, and then they mentioned that it traveled well, and it's only like so many parts because of course they had to set it up in the suite. So oh yeah, just to break down the room, guys, we're in a suite.
Here it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the gorgeous.
That's the table.
The table and the monitor, it's all
And the
like
keyboard, the mouse, all of everything we were just talking about.
it's gorgeous,
That's it. And it
gorgeous.
was perfection. It truly was perfection. Like it I thought it was super cool. And what caught me was the price. Very reasonable.
And while we're at it, let me see. I'm just getting the hang of this now.
Oh yeah.
And
There
that's
you
the
go.
chair.
That's the chair. The mesh bottom, those arms articulate, and it has give. So at first I thought it was because it was a prototype. I thought it was just not tight. And they were like, no, this is meant to give a bit so your arms not resting against a hard surface and you get that strain of you fighting your body fighting something. It's meant to give to where it feels like a natural, relaxed movement. And I'm just like, this is because as a big guy, a good chair is everything. As a person, period.
As a
'Cause
person, yeah, a
period.
good
As a
chair.
person, period. Because when I first started content creating, I started off on a metal fold out chair, and
Oh
I
my
didn't know
god.
any better. And I used to get up after streams and like ache, like I would like dang near crawl to my room because I was just sitting in a metal chair for the last 3-4 hours.
Oh,
And
man, I
I
feel
didn't know
that,
any
dude.
better. I didn't know any better. Even so now everything for me is like ergonomic. Like I got my armrest lined with my desktop so that everything's flat, so I'm not like reaching or clawing or like angled. Like everything is flow because dude, I've had problems. Yeah. So seeing this chair, going back to Yeyian Gaming, was it was super dope how much detail they put
I really
into
wanna
it.
try that chair out. I
Oh
trust me,
yeah.
when I sat in that chair, I was like, "Man, this feels good."
Yeah.
Again, better than what I'm sitting in right now,
Yeah.
and a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
They got a winner right there. They definitely have a winner right there. Hands down, no doubt.
So what's the next thing that really
Ah.
stood out to you?
Well, before I go any further, I
Oh,
definitely wanna say that my going to CES, I was trying to look for more gaming-centric stuff because we're a gaming-centric site.
yeah.
Um, and a lot of the big tech stuff, like the TVs and stuff were cool, but I'll leave that for the big tech people because I don't have their I mean, I could tell you tech for days and days. I don't have the ability to dumb it down so you guys
Gotcha.
enjoy it. I'm not a Marcus Lee Brownlee. I can't do that. You know,
Yeah.
I'll be like blah 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 blah. You be like, Keith, shut up. So I ended up making my way over to the My Gaming booth, My
Mm.
Arcade, excuse me, My Arcade,
Okay.
and they had a lot of great stuff. They're the people who originally came out with the Atari pad, on the retro pad, and then they had the Bethesda, but the Bandai Namco and Capcom one, which
Mhm.
looked amazing. They have a crap ton of handhelds coming out. Sonic, lots of Sonic ones. Revenge of Shinobi, Outrun. They've got a retro console coming out, and various other different retro gaming things. And it's very interesting that they're going balls to the walls with this because especially when you have so many handheld devices out right now, there's
Emulators
like,
everywhere.
yeah, exactly. People are using emulators. Like, why are you doing this so much? But then you look at the pricing and then what they're offering you. Like the Bandai Namco Capcom one's giving you 200 games, 200 arcade games. So they're emulating 200 of these games, and it's an official collaboration with Bandai Namco and Capcom. And 200 games, 200 arcade games. Think about that for a second. It's coming. I think it says like 149.
It's a lot of quarters.
It's a lot of quarters, but you think about what they're giving you.
Yeah.
I
That's
really
not
want
bad.
to.
Yeah.
I couldn't get hands on. I went to the booth to go try it out, and the guy was like, "I can't take out the glass." I was like, "Come on, man! I see. I got a badge. I got a
We
reporter on
got
this.
media like this is what we do.
I got to talk about that." He's like, "Look, I'll take it out, but the problem is, the second I take it out, everybody's gonna come over here." And
Yeah.
as soon as he took it out of his hand, people were coming over. I was like, "Guys, look, I'm talking to this guy about this. Could you just stop it or wait till I
Yeah.
finish?" And he's showing it off to me, and it looks nice. Couldn't play it, unfortunately. Would love to have played it. Couldn't do it. Um, They got, again, a bunch of Sonic ones. They got 2 different Sonic ones. One has 5 games: Sonic, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, Sonic Spinball, and Sonic 3D Blast? Yeah, Sonic 3D Blast. There was another one, just Sonic 1, Sonic 2. Again,
No
Revenge of
Sonic and
Shinobi.
no Sonic and Knuckles.
I know Sonic and Knuckles. I didn't see Sonic and Knuckles. There was the Revenge of
Oh,
Shinobi one, where it was Shinobi 1, Shinobi. It was Shinobi. They had all the Shinobi games from the Sega Genesis. So Shadow Dancer, Revenge of Shinobi, Shinobi. I think Shinobi 3. Yeah, yeah, all of them. I can't remember all the Shinobis on there. It was, and again, couldn't play them. You couldn't play any of the ones they had in the glass case, unfortunately. But
okay.
if you moved over to the front where they had a bunch of the existing games, it was pretty cool. My daughter put down her camera and she started playing pole position. I have a video of that on YouTube. So I picked up the
Nice.
camera and it was she watching her play it, and she's trying to play it with her long Wolverine nails. And it was cool to see all the stuff they have out there. But again, I talked to them. I was like, again, we've got all these handhelds coming out, these big handhelds from all these companies. Why would somebody want to play this? And he's like, it's just convenience. I could
Yep.
pick this up and just play this versus trying to do an emulator. And again, the one of the things I gotta keep remembering and telling people is, just like when we talk about piracy, like, honestly, how many people are going to pirate a game?
Not many because it's a
Not
lot of
many. I
it's
mean,
more
yes, there's
work
a
than
lot
it
of people
takes.
that do it, but
Yeah.
there's way less that have no idea. So people aren't going to want to pick up a five, six, 700 or $1,000 handheld just to play a couple of games. So this is where we fit in. We give you these games, 200 games from Capcom and Bandai Namco for $149. That's,
So
if I had knew nothing about these Steam Decks and whatnot, I'm satisfied. I would love to have seen it in action, but they couldn't show it at the show. I have reached out to them, so I definitely want to see when they're going to be available and if they could send me one exactly so I can play it. Like, hey, this is great. I we'll see. They had the Atari one there, but to be honest, I really didn't care about Atari.
yeah, yeah.
I I I I played Atari 2600, 5200, but I'm past that. Um, they also had mega versions of it. Basically, it was a mini arcade cabinet.
Cabinets.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
called the Mega, and they're the same thing. They're just bigger. It's like you can mount them to the wall or put them on a desk or something. Um, those are cool, but I again couldn't touch them. You couldn't touch a lot of stuff in there. But I really like being in that booth. I was in that booth for like a good 30 minutes.
Nice.
It was fun. It was fun, and the first really game centric thing I did at the entire event.
So for me, the next thing that really that I had a lot of fun with, I'm kind of jumping out of order, but I'm just going down because I wrote a list of stuff. The Pimax VR booth.
I missed
Um,
that. Yeah, I heard good things about that.
so I did their of course I couldn't fit into their I didn't try it. We all looked at each other and then because they had a flight sim VR experience, and then they had a racing. I forgot what the track is, but it's a famous track in Atlanta, like 1-for-1 ratio. And I was like, they were like, yeah, you could fit in the car one for sure, because they like designed it for they built it for one of the big UFC fighters, Usman or something like that. And it was like, if he can fit, you can fit, you're fine. So I get in that bad boy, I set up the tripod first, angled it, got in that bad boy, and man, when I tell you, it was they warned me. They're like, "Look, this is not it's a racing sim. So like
Right
you're
there. Be
really
careful.
driving. Yeah, you're really driving and it's on shocks, like this whole layout. So of course, the VR does not come with the whole setup. That's a whole different company. It was two companies there for the complete experience, but I was mainly there to check out the Pimax actual VR unit. And come to find out, I didn't know that Pimax was because a lot of these companies I didn't know much about, which really was nice because I got to actually just go in and learn more than anything. And it wasn't me like drilling them. It was just like, hey, tell me what's going on here. So apparently the way they talk about Pimax is that this is a premium VR experience. Like this is not the everyday go to Walmart buy a VR headset. Which there's nothing wrong with those. I got one of those, or I got my MetaQuest 2. There's nothing wrong with those, but they're like, this is a premium experience. This is for those who want to get the full breadth of VR.
It's kind of like the Valve Index kind of thing.
Yeah, like this is a specialty unit. Like this isn't something you buy for your kid for Christmas. And I think if I'm not mistaken, the cheapest price was $8.99. I could be completely wrong. Don't quote me, but from what I remember. But being in that car and they told me I had to get the tires hot because everything was they were like like the car's not primed. So you got to get out there and really handle this first lap. They were like, most people don't get through the first lap. So
What you do?
I'm driving. I did all right. I did 2 laps. I crashed twice. The first time I crashed, I hit a lip a little too hard, and I thought I was hitting the brake. He was like, "Hey man, you're on the clutch." I was like, "Oh snaps!" And because I like spun out, hit a wall, and the whole thing. Like, and they do their best to make you feel like you're really in that experience. Only thing is missing is a haptic vest. So then after I got back on the road, and it's pedal shifters, so that's why I didn't think for the clutch because it was all pedal or not pedal hand shifters, and I'm or paddle shifters, there you go. And so then I get on the next lap and everything's going good and I'm getting comfortable, got it in 6th, I'm revving, I'm gone, and then I hit a corner too tight, lose traction, and the car goes haywire. I had to let go of the wheel because it jerked, it's
Wow, the
jerking with
feedback was really that bad. It was
yeah.
like,
No, because I was worried.
go
No, I
ahead.
was worried about breaking my hands or fingers because it like when I lifted and I felt the wheel give and then it loosened up and then when I touched back down, it snatched. Like a
Jeez.
real car. If you've ever been in a car accident or like off-roading or
Thankfully,
anything,
no.
yeah, or
No.
like if you've gone trailing or anything, like the car was actually the wheel was actually like snap. Like I legit let go. I was like, nope, I'm done, and let go. And then I was like, yeah, I'm good. But it was just so fun, and the team was really cool. Um, and I believe it was the Pimax Crystal Light, and the Crystal 1800 or something like
They
that.
named it after a drink.
It was Crystal, yeah, the Pimax Crystal. Look, now I'm gonna check. Look. Let me get to clicking.
No, you got me. Look, Pimax Crystal Light. Like what?
Let me
Yeah,
see.
it's Crystal
Yeah,
Light. It's
yeah,
Crystal
okay,
Light.
yeah. See, I knew I went crazy, but yeah, the Pimax Crystal Light, and
Like, good lord, the specs on that thing. My
see,
God.
okay, can you walk the people through the specs real quick? Because for
Sure.
me, yeah,
So it's got a 2080 by 2080
yes,
refreshing per eye. That's crazy. 35 PPD. That's really good. 72, 90, 120 refresh rate. Adjustable IDP. That's great. Local dimming. Headset with 2 controllers. It also has outside tracking. That's not
S-
bad, given what
so
it is. That's
so there
$888.
you go. So I was on point with the price. So folks, now you see why I didn't bring up any of the specs because I wouldn't have known what any of that means. But I will say that as for an experience, it was super dope. And I can only imagine. And based on the games they showed, they were really trying to highlight that this is supposed to be a high-end experience. Like, hey, because out of all games, like, you go to most VR places, they're like, oh, here's this cool shooter where you just see your hands and like, but no, this was full on racetrack hot, like it was intense. And then I didn't get a
Man.
chance to check out any of the flight sim stuff, but shout out to Pimax. That was a very good experience. And the booth was cool. And then, okay, side note, behind Pimax, I didn't go check it out. I took a picture, but it was that whole 4D experience VR setup where it even goes over your mouth.
No
Um,
thanks.
yeah, yeah. It goes over your mouth, it goes over your ears. It's a haptic suit, hands. and they had somebody up there being like an e-girl, and it just full body tracking. It was intense, but that was behind it, and I forgot the name of that one.
I'm looking at this now.
Look, I got them, guys. Pimax, please
So
send me one because I got them. I hooked them.
I'm not a big fan of Mark Zuckerberg, and I'm not a big fan of Meta. And if I could get away from Meta, I'm gonna do it. I'm not rich by any means, but I know how to sell stuff. eBay is my friend, and that price. I mean,
What was also cool is I was talking because they had some design stuff in the back like CAD and whatnot. And I thought of my brother, engineering design stuff. And I was like, hey, can you talk to me about is it only video games? Like that's what I asked. Once again, very general questions, I know, but I don't know anything. You know nothing, Jon Snow. But so I was like, hey, what is this meant only for gaming? And they were like, no, and they brought over their software company who was there also teaming up with them. So actually, it was 3 companies in one booth, all under the Pimax banner. And they broke it down. They were like, yeah, we have people who build who do lifelike tours with houses and whatnot, remodeling. So people will come in, they'll design whatever the people want and put all the specifications, and then they'll have their customers put on the headset and go into walk into the kitchen. Like, is this where you want your counter? This is what it would look like at your height? Is this where you want the stove? And really walk people through remodeling. So it was, and then of course transferring over into different programs for models and whatnot. But yeah, it was super cool to see that it's more than just gaming, and they had all of that in that one area for you to experience.
man, I'm really bummed I missed out on that. So I'm looking at this right now, like, man,
We got them.
it
Pimax.
sounds good.
Look
It
it up.
sounds good. And since you mentioned it, you said haptics. So I tried out the bHaptics suit, and basically it's just a vest, hand glove or wrist attachments or gloves, depending on what you play. That it's out now. You can use it, you can buy it right now. I think they said it was like $600 for everything. I may be incorrect. But I've never heard of them before, and I gave it a try. The host was very gracious, Deborah. She was a
Yeah,
very
shout out
pleasant.
to Deborah.
She was a great host. Very funny too. And that was one of the things that the audio messed up. And I was really pissed off because we had a great time. The demo was amazing. I really can't go back to playing VR without the feedback anymore. It's just being able to play with the feedback and then going back and saying, okay, here it is without the feedback. It's like, wow, it's definitely missing a lot. Being able to uh, adjust the feedback and make it a little higher, because I was like, this is not enough. I need more. She's like, sure, I'll turn it up for you. It's like, okay, I feel this a little more now. I can't really say much about a haptic suit because it's just, if you've ever watched Ready Player One and he's in the full haptic suit,
that's what it felt like.
that's
That's
what
what
it
it
is
looked.
right
Yeah.
there. I
Yeah.
was like, this would be great if there was a fighting game and you get punched in the face or punched in the chest, and you really feel it. That right there.
That was actually another point. Because and it's funny, no BS. The next thing I have listed to talk about is bHaptics. So this works perfect. So with because shout out to Deborah. I talked with her as well. And the first thing I want to acknowledge is, once again, guys, I am a very big person. So for me, being able to, with a hoodie on, with no extenders, which they do have extenders for those who are bigger. Because I'm not gonna lie, I signed up for this interview almost as a joke because I figured I would get there and not be able to get into the haptic suit, and I was gonna make like a fun of it. Not it, but more so me not being able to get in the haptic suit. But bHaptics, their hashtag is bHaptics ready and haptics for everybody. And they designed this bad boy with that in mind. Because I was able to put on the haptic vest with a hoodie on and zipped it up, no problems, no extensions, no anything. And I was able to go through the full demo, and the back part was the most interesting. Like, did you shoot yourself with the electrical orb?
Yeah.
So they went all out with the demo and the different type of damage. Like the electric orb had a radiating damage.
Yeah, it was, when you picked it up, it
Yeah.
was pulsating. It was like, wow, this
Uh-huh.
is really weird. In my article, I really talk about that. It's like it's like I've never felt this before in a game. It's just weird.
The next level of gaming. That's
Yeah,
what it
it's like
felt
it's not
like.
like something you can put in words. It's like, wow, this thing is really pulsating in my fingertips. Like,
Well, you know
what is
what?
going on here?
You know what's the best, like, in terms of progression? It was like going when they first brought the DualSense controller for the PS5, when they added the different levels of trigger pull, like when you're
Yeah,
playing like Call of Duty, and how it feel like you actually having to pull, and it adds weight and it adds something different, makes it feel a little more real. That's how this felt, but whole body when you're shooting a shotgun. So I was holding the shotgun in one hand, holding a pistol in the other, and when I was shooting with my right, the vibration radiated naturally depending on where I had my placement of the gun. If I had it completely across my chest, I felt it evenly across my body. If I had it to my right, I felt it like a real shot. Like if you've ever used shotgun, but like if people have shotguns, those listening, it felt as if I was shooting a gun.
I picked
Um,
up the assault rifle because I was like, I remember you in the army. And I picked it up. I was like, wow,
Did you
okay.
do the bow? Did you do the bow and arrow?
I
I
wasn't really a
had
big fan of
I
that, but
had
yeah,
so much fun with the bow and arrow. They were like, "Oh, you're really into it." I was sitting there
yeah.
all
I
like
was shooting
Robin
when I was
Hood.
shooting it.
Yeah.
And I was hitting the middle, and she's like, okay, like, yeah. I was like, I may or may not have been trained to kill people. I
Uh,
have been, by the
yeah,
way,
like,
guys. Don't mess
he-
with me.
he's like, "That's what I do." But no, it was so once again. And then the way they were taught, oh, it doesn't have to be connected to a VR. So that
No,
was another thing. They wanted to make sure they were like, we want haptics to enhance every gaming experience. And anybody who's willing to work with us will work with. Like that hearing that just made me so happy, because when I think about the progression of gaming, it's like, okay, the next step is,
yeah,
immersion,
the
immersion,
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 exactly. This is
immersion.
it.
And this, what better way? Wrist, vest, headset, like, like even without VR, it has the whole thing to add the feeling of like you got hit in the head. Where you got hit in the head, it kind of radiates
And
in
that's
that
what I
part.
said to her. I said, imagine playing a first person shooter with this, and you're
Ooh,
getting shot in the back, and now you don't have to hear the person. You can go, okay, I got shot in the back. Where did I get
yes,
shot in the back from?
yeah. And it's such a dope experience, and it feels good it felt cool to be able to experience what in my head is the natural progression for advancement of gaming. And no, I'm going off topic, we'll just stay there. But yeah, bHaptics, I definitely can't wait to finish that write up, because the only articles I've written so far were for Yeyian, and I wrote one more and I'm blanking. But yeah, so bHaptics, that was definitely really cool.
So going into this, and I didn't, you would think as big as that place was, that I tried a lot of stuff, and a lot of it was just walking around and looking at stuff, like looking at the TVs. Oh my god. Um, I will say this: there are a lot of people there that were interested in seeing that somebody that was more on the gaming side of things, and they were
Yes.
curious as to why you were there and talking
Hmm.
to the various different textures. Like I met one person who said she was in the corner. She was in the corner in the Hisense location, right? And me
Which
and
was a
Andy
cool booth. Really
was
cool booth.
amazing.
Yeah.
We were over there doing the scavenger hunt thing, and there was a board where you can just write stuff on. It reminded me of the old Surface wall tab. Um, and we had walked over to play with it, and then she was said hi, and I was like hi, and I was like, you look kind of lonely by yourself. She's like, yeah, I'm just stuck in this corner because I deal with the consumer end of things, and like the business is like the Disney and whatnot. I don't deal with the small people, and I'm like, so what do you do? And we're just talking back and forth about the technology and the cool things, and how like because I don't know if you went over there. Well, you said you did a high sense like all the TVs that were over there. They were like, you can't buy these. These are just
Yeah.
examples of what can be done. And she's like, oh no, I can sell you these,
See, that's
but
dope.
but you're not gonna be able to afford it because they're like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm like, no, that's cool though. Just talking to her about all the cool things that can be done with these TVs and blow your mind. And I'm like, wow, if only I could spend that much money on a TV.
Yeah, no big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, no big deal. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I got Disney money, not.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Um, so One of the cool booths I went over to, which was insanely popular throughout the event, was the Govee booth. Um,
Mm,
they were showing off a lot of the new lights. I think everything over there was brand new. The Pixel light, everything in the booth was new. I'll just say that. I don't remember all the names of the new lights, but it was pretty much hell trying to get a hold of somebody to talk to them about the stuff because everybody was in that booth talking. I think the one time I was in a booth sitting down trying to get a hold of somebody, there was this guy who was trying to talk to them about selling them stuff, and nobody in the booth was a salesperson. They were just talking about what we have and the technology. And I'm like, dude, go talk to an operation manager or something. Why are you
yeah.
talking these guys ear off? They clearly you can see them going, I don't want to talk to you,
Like
but
I can't sell you 2,000 units today, sir.
right.
I
And
don't.
he's just
Yeah.
talking and like so eventually we grabbed the guy and we're just talking about all the cool lights. They had a really I don't want to say it's a recessed light, but it does sit on the ceiling and it's brighter than what they have out right now. They have the strip lights that you can put on one end of the wall and they'll
The
go through both.
outdoor ones were cool too.
Yeah, the outdoor ones were really nice. The lamp that projects waves on the ceiling, that was really nice. Uh,
Okay, did you catch with the lamp? I asked them because I went as well. You can sync up to 20 of those lamps. The new lamps they announced,
that's
you can sync
crazy.
up to 20. I was like, so you can have your whole house like in one flow, all with the same colors and Bluetooth, all the
That's
music.
ridiculous.
I was like, that is badass. But keep going. I'm so sorry.
They had the new uh JBL power light speaker in the girls' room because that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Of course, nobody has a price or anything because nothing's on sale right now, and
Yeah.
there's no ETA and when those things are going to go sell. I was like, wow, this room is really nice. Not just the rooms itself, but just the whole vibe of everything. Even when you went outside or in the middle where that tree was, they had the tree all decked out and the tree looked amazing. And then they had the permanent lights, which is
Hmm.
something that I've been looking to do for my house for a long time because I hate going on my house or roof and whatnot to put on decorations for Christmas. So I'd rather just have
Hmm.
them up there now. And then when Halloween, I can change to Halloween, or when the
Yep.
Eagles win, I can change them all green and things of that nature. So I really liked that booth. It wasn't the most technological, but it was a nice chillax place to also relax. And I really like what they had.
And I'm gonna be honest, you're not doing the design of the booth justice. It really felt like you were in a different world.
Oh, it was
Um,
great. It was so
yeah,
great.
like once you walked into it, they did a good job. And once again, it's lighting. You felt like you went outside.
Yeah. Hang on.
And oh yeah, there you go.
Keep
It,
going. I'm gonna try.
well,
I took a lot of pictures of
yeah,
that
yeah.
booth.
No, no, but what was so cool about it was a bunch of different rooms. It reminded me of like maybe a house in the woods, like a well-lit house like you would rent out for a holiday. And they had a big tree in the middle. They had cobblestones. They had different rooms to experience. Like Keith mentioned, you had the girl room and that had the new lamps they were showing off. And then and also what was something that I learned, this is more or less about CES as a whole. I didn't understand the different badges. So of course I understood media and content creator, which from what I understand is the first year they did content creator badges. But we had media, we media. But no, there's the exhibitors, but then there was an industry badge. And
I saw that.
I didn't understand what that was about.
Me
And
neither.
we were talking to a guy, and they were like, well, it's to let the people know that maybe we want to do business, maybe we're here to buy units, maybe we're here to link companies. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that type of business was going on here. And they were like, yeah, like this is a consumer, it's basically a trade show. Like, like that you can come and like, hey, I want to pick up 10 of these. Like I off of random note while you're still looking for the picture, I overheard a guy at the 4D movable desk. I don't know if you've seen that.
No.
There was this it was like a art it was a office desk that was mixed with it honestly reminded me of like the 90s TV stands where it had like a compartment for everything. Like this is where your speaker would go. This is where your, the TV go. You know what I'm talking about? Those old wood TV stands with all the different pockets and whatnot. Well, they had that, but it was also a standing desk, and it maneuvered to whatever you needed it to be. Like if you needed an easel to draw, it would adjust to an easel. But then I heard a guy, they were like, yeah, we could get about 500 of these for the office, and or 50 of these for the office. And I was like, oh, this is what's going on here. Like people are putting in orders, people are working, and then you more seen that with the smaller like cell phone accessories, and I don't know if you caught those where they're like you can get so many units. They're like, no, we're here. What do they call it? Not OEM. Um, Basically they build it to get it white labeled. Like that was what a lot of those companies were there for.
Yeah, I can't. They're high resolution images, so it's like it's being like, no, I can't use it.
Oh, it's like
I'm trying to add a video clip so I can show the video
oh,
clip.
got you. But no, it was funny enough. I didn't take no pictures because I was just in awe. I was just looking around, getting lost. It was whimsical. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. It was very whimsical. And it felt so because you brought it up multiple times. Didn't you go to the booth multiple
Oh
times?
yeah, I was there
Yeah,
multiple times.
yeah. Like
I like that booth.
guys, seriously, Keith was like, no, you got to go to the Govee booth. We're going back to the Govee booth. I was like, what? I didn't even know what Govee was. That's what made it funnier. Is
It
I had
looked
no idea.
amazing. Plus, it had a lot of places to sit down and relax. And I was like, all right,
Yes,
cool.
it was very, very, very much a open air experience, even though it
Yeah,
was
it was
indoors
nice.
on the middle of a show floor. But for me, so the next one that was really cool down my list is Blacklyte. Shout out to them, shout out to Alex, shout out to that whole crew. I spent a lot of time there. Not only, in my opinion, next to Govee, they had like the best booth in terms of outside of the TV ones, because the TV ones like TCL and everything,
Nothing
those
blows away. The TVs,
yeah, the
nothing
TV
blew away the TVs. They
bro,
were
like
great.
the TV section was insane. But Blacklyte, man, the modular magnetic keyboards. Oh my god, I can't wait for those to come out. Like, because this is a big thing for me. A lot of gaming keyboards don't have 10 key because everybody's going for the smaller, maybe you want to turn it to an angle while you're gaming. Like it's a smaller design, and a 10 key keyboard is naturally big. Like they're just, it is what it is. You got a whole, what is it, 4, 8, 12, 16, like you got a whole 16 like extra keys that are added onto your keyboard. So, and I love 10 key, is just something I've always had. Maybe it's me being an old man, whatever. Oh yeah, there you go.
I took a
Look at,
lot of those pictures.
yeah, look at that. So that's magnetic. And the cool thing about it is you could either take it and switch it and put it on left or right. So you could put it on any side you want. For me, naturally, I put it on the right side, but it was just so cool. And then these things are heavy. They're very sturdy. It's not plastic, it's metal trim. And everything there, and their chairs are actually really good as well. With it's not, the articulation on the armrest isn't as heavy as the one we were talking about earlier with Yeyian, but it is a very solid chair. And one thing I did notice, and I don't know if it's a sign of the times and the economy, but the price range for a lot of things were very reasonable.
Yeah, it needs to be.
Yeah, like it's very, very reasonable pricing. And then they have a hub for all of their lighting, to where you could, like, that tower stick looking thing in front of the hexagon lights, that's an actual light. It's a light bar. And it has a matching one on the right. And the cool thing is they all sync together. So the hex lights, the floor lights, the lining, everything can sync together in a hub unit. I forgot the name. They are workshopping a name, and that's another thing. Like Keith mentioned earlier, a lot of this stuff is not out yet.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of there experiencing it, and they're like, yeah, there's gonna be a different design. Um, but yeah, man, that bad boy was Blacklyte, man. All the chairs were comfy, the lighting looked great. The keyboards, that was the big standout for me. Blacklyte is one of those companies like Yeyian where they have a lot of different products. And they're really growing big time. But in terms of booth, they had one of the best booths.
Yeah, it was
Like
a nice booth.
they were holding podcasts the whole time there, podcast live streaming, and They had a bunch of famous people come in. They had CEOs of different companies coming in and being interviewed and whatnot, all while the show floor was going on. And they had like frosted glass windows to where you could kind of see
There
what was
you
going
go.
on. Oh, here, yep, we're going up. And it just was super. Yeah, they had the tables. They got the standing tables. These ones don't have well, one of them did it have a PC in it?
No, I don't think these did.
Yeah, these ones didn't have PC in it, but it was super cool. And there was just so much stuff. They had everything: keyboards, chairs, all peripherals.
Drinks,
Uh,
if you wanted that too. They
yeah, they
had
had that. They had
everything.
drinks, food. They were feeding us. Like they during the last day, they had a bunch of food they brought out for everybody. And what's cool is the CEO. I forgot his last name, but his first name is Alex.
Nice chair.
Yeah, nice chairs, and then that was like a fishbowl type thing in the middle to where it looked like a little mesocosm. Like it was super cool. And they really laid it out. And then did you notice the lighting in the ceiling?
Yeah.
Like it was I was like, "Oh, are the lights running through the ceiling?" And they was like on beat and everything. So and it was in the middle of the show floor. So it was super cool and it stood out. And I spent a lot of time in there hanging out with that team. Shout out to Blacklyte. I really had a good time with you guys.
So there was, I mean, there was a lot of things, but I
Yeah.
think the last thing that really caught me was the Rokid Max 2 was it Gaming Ultimate Amplifier. So there's a bit of history with this. So Rokid already has the Max 2
So
glasses.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Mhm.
Are you talking about ROCCAT?
No, ROKID.
Oh, see, okay, they're the glasses company, right?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. I just want to make sure. I keep thinking you're talking about Rocket, like but they got absorbed. But keep going. I'm sorry.
So they have a pair of AR glasses called the Max 2 that probably aren't selling well. So I guess somebody's like, how about we add a peripheral to the glasses that we can market towards gamers? And what this does is you put on the glasses and then you add an attachment in front of the glasses and it projects up to a 300-inch image in front of your face. And I had a chance to go try that. Losing my voice here, sorry. And I was playing Black Myth Wukong on it. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Wasn't the sharpest image. They did say they'd still need to do some work on it. It's gonna be a little bit expensive. It's like $599, they said, but it comes with the attachment
Oh,
in the glasses. And there's the glasses, and there's like this big box that you connect the PlayStation 5, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, ROG Ally, everything. Anything that has an HDMI connection, you can connect to it and project the image onto the glasses. I thought that was really cool. Unfortunately, it was like this booth was just sitting there and it wasn't getting a lot of people. It's just like,
it was
what is
next to
this?
Pimax. Yeah.
But a pair of glasses, that's not cool. It's like, but it literally says, hey, 300-inch image in front of you. I'm like, 300 inch image in front of my face. Let me try that. And I tried it. I was like, wow, okay, this is really cool.
Is this something
Um,
you would invest in? Because I didn't get a
yeah,
chance to try it, but I did sit and watch for a while.
I think that has a I think you would invest in it if you didn't have access to a decent TV
Mm,
or you just don't have the room for a TV or a massive TV. There's
mm.
what those take place because I was kidding. I was like, I could use that and not buy a massive TV because it pretty much does the same thing. It has speakers on it, or you connect your own sound speaker system or surround sound system to it. So it's like, hey, I'm just gonna put this in the corner. This is my gaming corner. I don't need to look at a TV. I just look at this. They couldn't tell me if they could do something for people with prescription glasses though, so that was a problem.
Mm.
So that might be a downside towards that. But I thought it was really cool. It was fun to play with.
I
You know what?
definitely.
No, I do add one thing.
Mm.
Wow, I didn't really use my voice. They were using a Google Stadia control, and I was like, "Why are you using this?" Like that was kind of why not use
Not
like
an
a
all
built-in
controller. Yeah.
right? Why are you using this?
Somebody
They
probably
probably
had
had
it
a
in
bunch
their
of they
car.
probably had a
Yeah,
bunch of them and just said,
right?
"Hey, we can use these things because
Well, hey,
they didn't last long."
I wonder if initially they were building it with the intention of being able to just plug in the dongle and run
Possibly.
with it. That's probably why they had, yeah. I mean, because
See
remember
you, Stadia.
Stadia had it was we're not here to talk about that, but look, we can go for hours on that one.
Oh, boy.
I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 was one of the opening games for that, but that's beside the point. The thing that I want to get into because I realize we're like we could go for hours,
Oh,
literally.
yeah. I definitely
Um, I want to talk about the keynote speeches, the speech at the Sphere. So for those who don't know, the Las Vegas has a big giant
Oh my
sphere.
god.
And the cool thing about the Sphere is they always do stuff on the outside. Like every moment there's an ad or a fake sun or moon looking at you,
Whew.
winking. It's a full thing. Well, Delta Airlines had the first keynote speech from CES at the Sphere ever. Now, my core reason for going to my core goal at CES was to go to the Sphere experience. I was like, I didn't care who was going to be talking, what company was going to be talking. I was going to go and experience it at the Sphere. Now, shout out to Delta because they definitely got a customer for life out of me because of this experience. Not only did they give us like you got to tour the place because they really just opened it up to everybody. There was food everywhere. They fed you like crazy, and it was one of those get what you want. Then they had drink booths full of beverages, anything you can get on a plane, snack wise and drink wise. They had Biscoff cookies everywhere. Starbucks snacks there. They had Starbucks, Pepsi, a bunch of just stuff, and you could grab as much as you want because they were like, we got to get rid of it, so just take what you want. Then they had a this is all before we got to the actual show. Then they had a merch store. Now they kept calling it a merch store like you would buy something, but it wasn't for you to buy. You showed your Delta Sky Miles membership, and you got one of four items for free.
Oh,
Either
that's cool.
yeah, you either got a hoodie, a crew neck, a snowball, or a hat. And the hoodies are super good quality. I got one. Actually, I got two, but once again, not gonna talk about that. But then we get into the facility. Now, I knew it was gonna be something special, but my God, man, walking in there and seeing it, like I just was so in awe by it all because it was a full experience. So one, it's very massive.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like image from the floor. Like I was on the third floor, image all the way down, all the way to the top, and it kind of rings around a bit. So depending, like if you're all the way at the top, you won't necessarily see everything at the bottom. Funny enough, the worst seats in the house are at the bottom because I went
Yeah,
down there to get
yeah.
closer to Lenny Kravitz during the Lenny Kravitz performed, Viola Davis came out, Tom Brady came out, CEO of Uber came out. Um, and then they were talking a lot. Look, I guess I could talk technical. So they were talking a lot about how they're integrating AI into making a better customer experience from home to destination. So from the moment you book your flight and the day of your flight, they're wanting to create a concierge service that is tailored towards you. They want your flight, like the snacks that get brought to you, be tailored towards whatever snacks you usually get. And on a super random note, there's a restaurant that does that in a weird way, Texas Day Brazil. I don't know if you've been there. It's a Brazilian
No.
all you can eat spot, but I go there quite a bit to a point to where one day I seen the ticket. I don't think I was supposed to, but I seen it and it was like Baron, frequent customer, usually orders lamb. Gets like no, and they were like, so when they walk up, they're like, hey, so did the lamb make its way over to you? And I was like, oh no, not yet. They're like, all right, we'll go talk to the chefs and we'll make sure to get some lamb to come out to you. But so I'm imagining that's what kind of experience they want to provide, just for something that exists now. That's what type of experience they want to provide for flights. And then they showed a semi-futuristic lady going through her travel plans. They showed the digital concierge. Then they I believe it's called Joby, the Joby like mini helicopter things, the mini flying vehicles, and they're trying to integrate a Joby thing. So it's like, do you want to pay for Joby to take you to the airport, or you can go through traffic and get to the airport? So traffic is 90 minutes, and they broke it down. They're like, traffic is 90 minutes, or you could take a Joby. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. A Joby, and it'll be there in 10 minutes. So she was like, oh yeah, schedule the Joby. And then they showed her throughout her whole trip. And then on the flight, the shows on the streaming experience was tailored towards her. It let her set up her she was going to Japan, and let her set up her trip and itinerary, schedule different things and book different stuff from the tablet on the plane. Like it was just trying to show what they want to create for the full experience.
Well, that sucks because I usually don't fly Delta just because Delta is usually 1 or 2 stops, so I don't fly them.
Yeah. I love Delta because the food's usually better and the seats are comfortable. I think they were the first plane I got on that had the screens. I think they mentioned that too. They were like, yeah, we have more TVs in the sky, or more tablets in the sky than anybody else. Like that was something they mentioned.
I just
Um,
want comfortable seats. Dang
yeah,
it.
ain't that the truth? But I'll say this: experiencing the Sphere, the concert, and the presentation, they used every ounce, every part of that place, to a point where they mentioned coffee. So when the Uber CEO came out, he gave the CEO for the Delta a coffee. He was like, yeah, you wanted hazelnut and cream, right? And he was like, yeah, that's my favorite. And then all of a sudden I was tripping out. It didn't register that the whole place started smelling like hazelnut.
Yeah,
And
they
yeah,
they they got they got some witchcraft going on in that
yeah,
place.
there was a full experience. And what it immediately made me think of is, this is gonna be the premium future experience for movies. Maybe 20, 30 years, but I could see this being like, hey, we pay $100 to go to a movie, and you get smell, you get the full scope. They had us take off in a plane, and it was just every part of your senses they attacked, not or approached in this presentation.
No, attacked is right.
Yeah,
Attacked is the
right,
right word.
right. And it was just so amazing. And I put it this way: I was talking to Hip Hop Gamer, shout out to him, Hot 97, much love hip hop, very amazing guy. I was talking to him afterwards, and I explained to him, I was like, I am full. Like, I am emotionally, mentally, like, I'm full. If I didn't do nothing else at CES, I experienced CES. Like, I don't need nothing else. That's what that keynote speech was. A speech about an airline company from the CEO felt like one of the most technically advanced things I've ever seen.
Well, I didn't make the keynote because of traffic and flying and all that bull crap, but I did make it to the Sphere my last day,
Mm.
and we want to go watch, what was it called? A Postcard from Earth.
Ooh, was it
And it
good?
was like, "Holy crap." When we first watched it, it was just the like a regular movie screen. I was like, "All right, whatever. It's just a movie screen." I wasn't paying attention. And then the movie came on, and it's basically, um, Earth got devastated. We messed up the Earth. We had to leave the Earth. We're landing on another planet, and all of a sudden, you hear the landing, and then the speakers just go like you're actually landing, and you're feeling the speakers under your seat and everywhere. And I'm like, "Wow, the directional from the audio in that place is crazy, like literally crazy." And I'm like, wow, this is better than any movie theater I've ever been to. So then they're talking, and then they talk about Earth. And then you start seeing Earth in the middle of the screen, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it engulfs you, and the entire place lights up, and you're like, holy crap. People are like, wow. I was like, holy, that is when we go back to Vegas, we have to go to the Sphere again. We have
Oh,
to
a
see the
hundred,
Sphere
no, a
again.
100%. I didn't know there was other things you could just go and do. I didn't know that, and I feel like I missed out.
Yeah, you can buy tickets. They were expensive as
Whoa, oh, and this is okay. So just to let folks know, that's why I was also pressing so hard to get to this event, because it was free. You just had to grab a ticket before they ran out. which was an adventure and a half in itself across all that
I
is
I
Vegas.
was a little frustrated with how getting into the Sphere is. It's very unorganized. You've
Yeah,
got like multiple lines and people pushing because there's no single file or any kind of
yeah.
order. It's complete chaos. And then if you have a bag on you, they might tell you to put it into the lockers, or if you have a too
Uh-huh.
much big of a bag, yeah, they don't have their stuff together. And then watch people take their bags and walking through the theater even though they weren't supposed to. My daughter's yelling at me like, "Why didn't you just take your bag instead of paying?" Because I just paid $200 something for tickets,
Yeah, that
and now I got to
yeah,
pay another $20 something to check my bag.
yeah.
And it's like, this is ridiculous. And then obviously it's a premier experience, so everything. Like I paid like $6 for a bottle of water. I'm like, $6 for a bottle of water. You got to be kidding me.
See, I feel
But
bad. I'm over here not paying nothing for
but
everything.
the
Yeah.
the movie, the experience in the movie was just like holy crap. And as we got back home, we're explaining this to Monique how this was. I looked it up. I didn't know that the people who did like other like Madison Square Garden, a place in Abu Dhabi, big
Yeah.
balling money. These people worked on this, and this I think it cost like $2.3 billion to make. And I'm like,
It was so
holy
amazing.
crap!
Like, isn't it funny that something that's already there ended up grabbing so much of your thought about the experience of tech?
It
Like, for me,
that
yeah, that was the
that was
epitome.
that was better than anything I seen in
Yeah.
CES.
Oh, easy.
Anything,
Easy.
anything.
And I was just like, I was like, this is the future of premium entertainment. Like, you know how it went from just movie theater to then it went to like that whole reclining chair to full on dinner in a movie now, and then you got the 4X, what is it, 40X experience. This this is like, I could see, and I guess they're supposed to be building more spheres around the world. But I this
Man.
is, I imagine as being the future premiere experience.
The only thing I
Give
didn't
it
like
20,
about
30
it,
years.
the only thing I didn't like about it was seats. I mean, like the
Yes.
seats were super like if you were sitting down
Basic.
and somebody needed to get past you, you
Yeah.
getting up and walking out
It
the
was
aisle.
baseball stadium style seats,
Yeah,
like, for
you had to
sure.
get up and walk away.
Yeah.
I was like, this is and it was so steep. I'm like, going down. I was like, don't trip because you're gonna
Yeah.
die.
Yeah, that's it.
You are going to
It's a
die.
wash. Like, yeah.
You're gonna keep going down and you're gonna go over the ledge and you're going to die. It's
Yeah.
not even a joke. I'm not even kidding. You
Yes.
will die or be seriously hurt.
Yeah, very, very, very steep. Like, I was terrified. Like, I sat at the complete edge, far right, far right, the furthest right you could go in the 300 section. And when I was walking out of there, because it's a dome, obviously, it curves up. So I'm holding the rail, like curving up as I'm walking. like,
I mean,
but
the video
yeah,
experience was amazing, but yeah, that was just like, oh, this is bad. And then getting out, like you mentioned, I'm like, this is. I'm holding on to the rail because this is
oh,
bad.
tight. Oh,
This is
I was
bad.
I was scared. Not gonna lie.
Did
Once I
not
sat
like
down,
that.
that was it. I was not moving. I was like, I'm here until it's time to go. And then I kind of let the crowd get ahead of me because I was like, I'm not fighting with nobody on this. This is crazy.
It was
Um,
crazy.
but
Um, I mean, there was a lot of stuff at
yeah,
CES that I liked, and a lot of stuff I could talk about. But again, I'd be talking forever.
yeah,
But there are two negatives I've had about the event. Um, I'm just gonna throw them out at the same time because it was very frustrating. Um, and I did talk to some people about this afterwards. Somebody that used to work in the hardware PR, and they was like, "Yeah, it kind of is like that." There are certain things that are placed out of the reach of certain people,
yep,
and that's frustrating. I came here to look at everything, and it's like, no, you can't get access to it. You need to be invited to go see it,
yeah,
and that was super frustrating. I didn't come to go to the largest consumer electronics show in the world, only to be told, "Well, you're not what? You're
you're
not
not big
Linus
enough.
or whatever.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't see it." And I'm like, "But
yeah.
if I don't see it and can't talk about it, then I can't get to that level." So
Sony.
this is how it works. I get access to it, then I make content, and people like the content, then it keeps going. But if you deny me from the gate, then it's like, well,
What was I here for?
what was
Like,
that?
yeah,
That was frustrating. And other than you, I didn't meet anybody else. And I wanted to go there and meet my mutuals. I want to meet my peers, and it just feels like unless you're in the tech space, you're not going to meet people there, and that was sad. I wanted to be more.
Yeah. I know for me a big thing was I'm glad I had a gut feeling to not schedule a lot of things because of how spread out everything is. Like even within the Las Vegas Convention Center itself, everything is very, very far away from each other.
Dude,
And
I
it's
got lost. I was looking for South.
oh
I'm like, "Where's South Hall? South Hall down that
yeah,
way?
yeah,
You
it
gotta
was
go that." I'm
bad.
like, "Jeez, okay."
Going from like the boat. Did you see that giant mining truck, the John Deere thing? Okay,
I
so
saw it on the video, but I didn't see it myself.
man, it looked like a two and a two, 3-story house, and it was just a truck. And I was like, my God. Like, and it just I was like, oh yeah, if kaiju's hit, it's a wrap. Like this, like this would be a baby kaiju. Like and
Yeah,
we're done.
it was
But
massive. I saw it's on the
it,
video.
it, it was just absurd at how like you see buildings all the time, but to see a car that looks like a build the size of a building,
John Deere of all things. Like, why
yeah, it
John
was just
Deere?
like what? But it was just everything was very far, and I got there on accident and to that part. But then like I'm glad there was a lot of different media rooms. Um, uh, I I didn't have a hard time meeting folks, but it was just how far. Oh, did you go on a Hyperloop?
No.
Okay, Elon Musk. Yeah, yeah, we'll leave it there. But that damn Tesla loop thing, that was fun. I felt like I was going into the Bat Cave. So, and it was in the convention center. So, like, you literally went right when the food court in the Central Plaza, like where the Ring building was and all that, over by where Pimax and everything was, right
Okay.
outside where the food trucks. So that little glass area that people kept getting bag checked in and out of, I didn't know what it was for until one of a local friend of mine was like, "Oh, that's the Hyperloop," and I was like, "Well, what's that?" They were like, "Yeah, you can take that and it'll take you to the other convention centers, and for free, or for money, it'll take you to Resort World, which is a off the campus." And
Wish I would have known that.
me too. I didn't know it until like the last 2 days. But it was so I was up in there nerd now. It's just lines of Teslas and people are just driving them through you're just running through the tunnels. Then you come up and you get in the line and then you go back down and it just gets you to where you want to go. And it was just super cool. And it was like they made it to where you don't feel as claustrophobic. But if
I
somebody's
was gonna ask
claustrophobic,
about that. It probably makes you a little
they really
claustrophobic.
tried to make it like, of course they painted the walls white, so it gives it big feel, and it's a lot of RGB, a lot of lights, not like blinding, but it just to make you feel like you're going through something infinite.
How long did
But
it take you to get from one convention center to the other?
so I never went from another convention center to the other. What I did was go from the Central Plaza to the Resort World Hotel. That's the only route I ever took, and it was about 5-10 minutes. Like you
Okay.
kind of it wasn't bad. And then the wait wasn't bad either. The longest wait I had was maybe like 15 minutes, and that was because it was busy. It was like
That's not bad.
as the con was ending.
We took the monorail, I think, once,
Same here.
and then we were like, "Never again."
Yeah. How squished were you?
Very, very. I was like, "This is
Starting
ridiculous."
again. Yeah.
They're like, "Get in, get in." Like, "No, this is ridiculous." It's like, you ever see those shows or like you're in Japan or
That's
over there?
exactly what it was
That's
like.
exactly what it was. Just get in. They're like, "Get in." I'm like,
They're like
"Dude,
they were pushing people in to like, all right, the door's gonna close, and then like,
it's
yeah, it
like
was,
unless
yeah.
you're holding on to the rail, you're screwed." Like, I was getting a little pissed off because there wasn't a lot of guys or a lot of females on the thing, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Well, my daughter's right here. You at least get up and let the woman sit down." But
Yeah, that wasn't
that's just the
happening.
thing about manners and chivalry in this world. But I won't get into that.
Yeah. Um. My last point, because once again we could definitely do this for hours. I was truly shocked at how light the MSI Claw, their handheld, was. Very light. It looked as big as it was bigger than the ROG Ally screen wise and just overall just dimensions. It felt bigger, but the weight of it was lighter.
They had
Just
a they
very
had a
weird.
they have a smaller battery in it.
Ah,
That's kind of they're doing more with a supposedly a more efficient chip, but the trade-off is you have a lighter battery or small battery, and
we
it
know what
doesn't
that
always
means.
play out.
We know what that means.
So yeah,
Play Hogwarts Legacy and you'll get it for
it,
30
it,
minutes.
it just feels like you're getting all these handheld nouns and all these massive screens and all these different things, and it's like as I turn to go look for mine, that's not where it's supposed to be. I wonder who has it,
Mhm.
son. And they're just giving you all these things, and it's like, so wait, basically what you mean, it's portable for about an hour or two, and then I got to plug it up. So it's
Yep.
not really portable anymore. Like
Yeah.
what was it, the Acer one?
I didn't see that
I
one.
didn't see it, but I keep seeing people talk about that massive 11-inch, and I'm like, dude, what? How? It's at that point, it's not a handheld anymore. I mean,
It's a
massive,
it's a mini PC.
like, yeah, put that
Yeah.
on the table or something. That's not a
Yeah.
handheld anymore.
Yeah.
No, stop calling it handheld. But yeah,
Ooh, shout out to Hyperkin. Speaking of they created they have a bunch of cool mini controllers that are already programmed to connect to everything from switches to phones, Android, Apple. And it's cool because it's got triggers and bumpers, and it's meant to play any game, any console.
I didn't
Um,
get over there. I was really kicking myself for not getting over there.
and it's super cool. But I'm gonna be quiet now because once again I can keep doing that. Yeah. But yes, CES
See, because he
level
did that. No, see, because he did. I'm going to add one more because he
go.
opened his
Yeah,
mouth.
no, I'm so sorry.
So
Definitely, yeah.
LG made a big splash there, but one of the biggest splashes was their bendable TV, their bendable computer
Mm,
monitor. It's people were like, because I made a video about it, or I did a small video and it blew up, and then people were asking me about it. I'm like, it can do 13 settings, I think 13 or 10 settings.
oh wow.
It's motorized, and people were at the booth
Oh,
and they're just hitting the bend and the straighten and the bend and the straighten, and just going back and forth and back and forth. And people are like, well, Corsair did it first. Like, yeah, Corsair did it one, but they're using an LG panel for it, and that one was a manual. You had to actually
see.
no, this one is motorized. You don't have to do anything. Hit the button, it does it. And people are
Ooh,
just mesmerized looking at it, just like, ooh. I'm like, okay, I get it. That's great. You don't have to keep pressing the button on and off. But they also had transparent panels, and he
ooh.
had this big it's basically a giant display made of transparent TVs or panels,
Okay.
and they were just spinning around and showing images. It was like, wow, that's really cool. But what am I going to do for transparent monitor? What am I going to
Making
do with that?
show how dusty my wall is. No.
What am I going to do with that? Have my son go, hey, dad, look, I'm on side TV. No,
Yeah, like
no,
please
I don't need
don't.
that.
Like God, no.
I don't need that. It's cool. So it's a cool. What is the word?
Novel experience.
It's cool that they have the technology down, but it's just like, because we can do it, does it mean we should do it? I mean, I guess somebody will find something for it. I don't see it, but
You know what? I could imagine them taking it a next step and going heavier on the lighting to create a full immersive experience from home. Like with a good sound bar, good light bars. Like I could see it really, you know what I mean, enhancing. But outside of that,
put it in your car windshield. There you go.
ooh.
That's terrible. We already got bad drivers as it is. We don't
Well,
want them
you
to
know
go.
everybody's all playing games on their jailbreaking their cars.
That's the problem. I don't
That's the
need that.
world we live in now. People are jailbreaking their cars. Like,
I don't need that.
oh
I don't need that.
god. Like,
And perhaps the last thing
I
was
got
being able to talk to all these amazing people at the event. The vendors were cool.
yeah.
All of them were really nice. They were talking about the
Yes.
technologies and what's going on. And I didn't come across one ignorant person. And I was kind of expecting somebody to get tired of talking to somebody.
Yeah.
No, they all were great. They liked being there. They were having fun. I got into a really heated conversation with one guy at the Lenovo booth about the new uh Nvidia cards, and he's getting pissed off about the cards, and we're talking about what Nvidia is doing and how they're screwing over the gamers. And I'm like, man, he's just
Isn't it
eager.
aren't those things only like 16 gigs? I heard somebody mention that. No? Oh,
No,
okay.
like the RTX 5090 is 32 gigs.
Okay. Okay.
I think the 5080. Let me look that up. I want to say is 24. I could be wrong on that
Well,
one.
Well, you know what? And this is going along with what you're saying, right? I was truly amazed
16.
that oh, okay. Yeah, see, there you go. That's what it was. I was amazed at because these are some companies that I've been trying to get in contact with in the past. You know what I mean? Like these are companies that I have emailed. These are companies that all I get is their press release. But then when it comes to CES, I'm actually in a room with titled people.
Yep.
And we're shaking hands, exchanging cards, having great conversations. And you know what was the funniest thing? Nobody asked about a number. I only had one company ask me about numbers, and it was more of which one of your things are your bigger things, not hey, what's the number for this? What's the number for that?
I didn't even
It
have that.
no,
Nothing.
but this is what I'm saying. So this is the first time I've went to an event, and for the most part, felt even. Actually, I felt like more like I had somebody walk up to me while outside of one of the venues and try to gave me stuff to hit them up so I can get a product because they ran out of products to give out. They were trying to get media to review their stuff, and they were just giving it out, and it was just being grabbed like, oh, your media, Green Stripe, yeah, get over here, like we like you. Like I had that said to me, and it was a rare experience for me. So that was another big highlight. But I'm done. I'm done.
Now you just gotta wait till next year to do it again. And next year I will be coming much more prepared.
Oh, 100%.
I am ready now. I'm starting to get everything situated, testing the gear, knowing what I'm taking. Um, going day one. I'm not
Mhm.
making any changes to my plans. If you did not get your tickets and everything with me day one, too bad. I'm not changing anything. I wouldn't be able to enjoy all the days
Yeah. I
and not leave until it's over.
hope they incorporate the sphere again. Like, because I know this was the first time they did it. I pray they do it again.
Man, I'm just every time somebody says spear, I'm just going.
It was
Was
wonderful.
that
It
was
was
an amazing
wonderful.
experience. Oh my god, I love it. But I think we're done. I think
Yes.
we're done fanning over that. All in all, I enjoyed myself. I wish I had more time. I wish I was better prepared. Like I said, I'll be there next year. Thank you for the powers that be that allowed me to go there in the first place and
Thank
be
you. Thank you. Thank you.
treated as an equal. Like
Yeah.
that right
Yeah.
there. You know,
It
you
oh,
don't get that
and
a lot.
I'm so sorry. I have to shout this company out because they really helped me out big time. So, like I said earlier in the beginning, dealing with a lot of power outages and whatnot. And I had talking to my wife, and I told her I was like, I'm seeing a lot of power state dry power anchors and whatnot and generators. I was like, look, we're buying one. We've been having way too many blackouts, way too many power outages, even before the fires, just with the wind and whatnot. I was like, we need to get one, especially working from home and whatnot. We need it. Well, a company, Yoshino, shout out to Yoshino Power, much love to them. They actually sold me one on the floor, charged it up. I told them what was going on. They were from LA, so they knew what was happening. And they asked me what I needed, like what was I going to use it for. And they walked me through all the specs, and they sold it to me at cost on the floor,
Nice.
charged it, had everything set up. So shout out to Yoshino. I really appreciate you guys, your team. Anybody who was there needs a pay raise. Good people. Really helped me out. Much love to them. So yeah, I gotta get that out there.
All right. Other than that, I think I am done. So,
Yep.
um, as you didn't know, this is a split podcast. So you're going to see us over on Baron's LV1 Gaming. You're going to see my face over the Outerhaven. But we're sharing the love because we enjoyed the
Yes.
event together. Want to see more of these? I would love to collab with other people.
Oh yeah.
It's not going to the event and going, this is mine. It's going to the event and going, you know what? Let's just share all this because it's more than one person can handle. And if you say that's not true, I want to see the proof.
God, it was. I still didn't see everything. Like,
I didn't see a third of everything. So that
mhm.
said, this is Keith Mitchell here from the Outerhaven Productions. You can find me over in Blue Sky, Shadow Haxer, also Blue Sky, the Outerhaven. I'm no longer on X. We're no longer on X. Well, actually, the Outerhaven is, but not for much longer. You also can find us over the outerhaven.net. And Where can they find you, Baron?
Yeah, you can find me at LV1 Gaming, LV1_gaming on Instagram. We're really pushing heavy on there because I found out a lot of these companies are on Instagram. So we're making sure that we're building our presence there. YouTube, youtube.com/LV1Gaming20, Lv1Gaming.com. And honestly, anywhere you see the Phoenix, we're on Blue Sky, we're on Twitter, our X, God. But yeah, you can find us anywhere you see the Phoenix, Lv1 Gaming.
All right. So thanks everybody for checking us out. And again, thank you, CES, for bringing us out there. We will be back there next year. From the both of us, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we will see you next time.
Peace.